Welcome to this week's Foundation Friday. I am joined today by Adam Bednar, president of On Your Six Capital. Thanks for joining me, Adam.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. Pleasure to be with you again.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have you on here. I love your OY6 swag. I should have wore my little jacket that you guys got me a couple years ago, so I apologize for that. But we're here today to talk about Warriors to Work. You mentioned this charity a couple of years ago when we had our first California event, and appreciate you taking a few minutes today, Adam, to kind of discuss it in further, with us here. So just kind of jump right in if you don't mind. What is Warriors to Work?
Yeah, happy to talk about it. So Warriors to Work is one of the 20 programs that Wounded Warrior Project provide to warriors in the veteran community. So specifically, the Warriors to Work program is an employment program. It educates and informs employers about the skills that these veterans bring to the civilian workforce, and they collaborate with employers, but more importantly with these warriors, right? And we all see the warriors that have the amputations and the burns and some of the really physical debilitation,
Sure.
and they still have a purpose in the workforce, and there's still things they can do, and most importantly there's some amazing things that they bring to the table that a lot of the civilian workforce could learn from. I mean, they're dedicated, they're task oriented, they've got motivation, determination. I mean, all those things are bred into you in the military, and they just don't want to sit at home and collect a check from the government. And so in my work with veterans, and I work with a lot of different organizations, these vets come back and I see it. I see the issues because they have a purpose in the military. They come back, they don't want a handout. And so what really helps is that the program works with companies that want to support these veterans, but also works with the veterans themselves, helps them with resume, trying to divide the gap between what you did in the military and how that translates into the civilian sector. And the thing that really got me to it, because I suffered from PTSD for a long time before I was really aware about it, right? And so there's a lot of scars that military service brings that aren't visible. And so you see these veterans come back. They're fully physically capable, but they've got wounds nonetheless. And so this program helps employers kind of understand that, how you can bring these veterans in. And then really the military does a terrible job of transitioning you. They spent 9 months and millions of dollars to train me to do my job in the military. And it was 6 days and I was out of the military. And so I had trouble going, and I came from an officer route and getting into the civilian world. And so it really helps both the employer and the civilian figure out, okay, what's the story? How do we present this? And how do we make a win-win for this veteran who really does want a task and purpose in life and wants to provide and make that relationship that much better?
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, that's a great point. It's like you spend all this time training, and then afterwards, it's like, okay, see you later. Good luck. So that's fantastic that there's organizations like this and others that help that.
Yeah, it's gotten a little better, Jesse. The Marine Corps came out with the TAPS program, but it's drastically insufficient.
Sure.
And so there's a number of organizations that I actually give my time to help. And candidly, I don't know if the military is the right, the training they give for your job is amazing. And so it does take outside organizations to come in and try to help these veterans who are coming out and experiencing a lot of changes. I mean, the biggest one, and the one I like to relay to people, is when you're in the military, you're in an honor-based system. And when you come out, you're thrown back in the real world where it's ego and the real world situation. And so it's just tough to see something and really make it connect. And so you get a lot of frustration, you get a lot of pity, feeling sorry. And so when you have someone who can walk that walk with you, and Warriors to Work has it. They've got 20. Last time I worked with them, they have 28 regional offices with case workers in there. And so no matter where you are in the US, when you decide to exit the military, there's someone locally there that you can go to and get all the support. And the great thing about all Wounded Warrior projects, um, and specifically Warriors to Work, it's free of cost to the veteran. And so it's an opportunity for them to really find their career. You know, I think a lot of veterans come out, they find a job and it's not fulfilling. You want to find a career, and these guys do a
Sure.
great job of doing that.
Sure. Sure. So that's you mentioned your involvement in it from a OI6 capital perspective. Do you mind just kind of discussing the whole team involvement within Warriors to Work at?
Yeah, so there's a couple of charities we supported. So when we started the business, we are a veteran-owned business. We're a certified service-disabled veteran-owned small business, and we have, you know, the two founders, Will and I, are both veterans. We have veterans on staff, and we look to hire veterans when it makes sense. I'm not telling every company you should go hire every veteran, because hiring someone for a job they're not going to excel in or like isn't the
Sure.
right thing.
Sure.
Um, and so part of every transaction we do, we give back. And so when we look at where we wanted our first, you know, charity, it was kind of a no-brainer to do something for veterans. And rather than just do something grassroots or support one of the local causes that I serve, I thought about, wouldn't it be neat to do something to get veterans to work? And since we work with larger businesses who employ a lot of people, I mean, the middle market, I think 70% of all, you know, workers work for a middle market company. What if we could support an organization, and then as we lend money to businesses, they can also support, and not just monetarily, but by opening themselves up to hire veterans. And the cool thing about this is, you know, the company doesn't really have to do a lot. All you have to do is go online. They've got an employee registration form that starts the ball rolling, and then they work with you, the company, to guide you through creating a program, right?
Hmm.
And they lean on, you probably have veterans. I think one out of eight or nine people have served. You probably have veterans in your organization. What better way to understand someone you're hiring? You know, because we have ranks. There's no ranks in the real world, and so it's
Sure.
always great to include them. But they also help with the job description. How do you write a job description if you want to hire veterans? And I'm telling you, there's a lot of benefits to hiring veterans. I mean, we see it obviously, and I think most of corporate America sees it as well. So it, the Warriors to Work program does a good job doing that. And I don't think I mentioned it before, but there's a lot of warriors, right? And the way to define warriors is anyone who served post 9/11 that is experiencing any type of disability, right? Whether it's physical, mental, or where the gamut runs. And so some of those folks are you know, can't work, but they have a caregiver, a family member who needs to care for them for a certain amount of time, but then they need kind of a part-time job, and so they help with that too. So it doesn't just have to be full time, it can be part time. And a caregiver goes through a vetting process, just like the warrior goes through a vetting process. So you can hire a caregiver for a part time job or part time role, knowing that they've been fully vetted, and that these folks are ready to be hired. And so I've said, one, we can help them monetarily. Two, we can help spread the word. And three, we can help get some of our clients, you know, employees from this program. And so it just made a lot of sense. And again, I've been working with Wounded Warrior Project. I've been giving since really the start of it in 2003. They went through kind of a rough patch where they had some questionable leadership. They've completely cleaned house. And so we did a full vetting of them to make sure, hey, that the sins of the past don't affect the future.
Sure.
And I've got complete, you know, confidence in the program.
So, where do donated dollars go? Adam?
Say again?
When people make a donation to Warriors to Work, where do those dollars go?
So those dollars go into specifically the Wounded Warriors to Work program, right? There's 20 programs, but this one goes into this.
Sure.
It builds out an education platform for these folks. They get career counseling. They build out these employment centers. Like I said, they had 28 last time I talked to them. They probably have some more. And so it goes into education of the service member, but also education. And the goal of this is that, it helps, veterans find a meaningful career. And so it goes all into that project. I think in total, Wounded Warrior Project did about 250 million. They don't have a breakout of how much of that goes into Wounded Warriors to Work. But if you look at the website and the breakout, let's see if I have it up. I don't. Okay, here. Um, they don't break out individually how much of that goes to this program, but
Sure.
suffice to say, your dollars are well spent. And if you give, you get the opportunity to hire veterans through it. And so that's been
Okay.
that's probably the most meaningful thing, right? Giving dollars is great, but actually seeing and hiring some veterans from the program
Sure.
is just hugely impactful. And you hit on it a little bit. You know, it's great when the company hits certain goals. It's better when you hit those goals and then you see dollars go out. And the every employee here, when we fund a transaction, certain employees get to pick where we go, and to see that they could support their own charity or support this, and see them making that investment, is pretty amazing. And so I think from just an impact, it's great to do what we do. It's great to lend money to these businesses, but when you know what you're doing is for a bigger purpose, it really does rally everyone together. And for us, that's been a big part of what I think has helped us continue to grow. I mean, we've only been around. This fund's been around for 3 years, and it's been pretty great, the impact we've had in just those first 3 years.
No, it's fantastic. Perfect mindset for an organization too, right? Um, so I guess my final question I have for you, Adam, is what can people that are watching this video, our friends, colleagues, peers, and equipment finance do, to help with Warriors to Work?
Yeah, I mean, you can always write a check, right? I think that's great, but and I'll just tell you, I do a lot of mentoring with veterans when they get out. A lot of them don't have a plan. A lot of them are a little disenfranchised by the whole process. And so, my big push to people is find ways to hire veterans. There's a lot of money that goes into veteran organizations, and there's a lot of opportunities for vets to get services. I mean, we really learned from Vietnam, and the support and patriotism we give to our vets is great. But if you really want to impact their life, my personal belief in seeing this is give them, gainful employment. Let them feel like they're making a difference. Let them have a reason to wake up and want to go to work. And, my big thing on mentoring is, hey, Adam, I was a mechanic in the service, so probably need to be a mechanic. Well, no. Let's talk. Do you like to talk to
Sure.
people? Do you like solving problems? I mean, we hired a veteran here for a sales role, and within like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, this probably isn't working for you. Can we find another role for you? And he's great at customer service. He loves helping people. He had a lot of anxiety with sales. And so, I
Sure.
encourage everyone, you're going to get an amazing individual when you hire a veteran. You just are. There's certain things that are intrinsic in all veterans. And so when you're out there looking for good people, um, you know, consider a veteran, and Warriors to Work will help you. I mean, they wherever you are, they've got an office, and whatever role you're looking to fill, they've got something. And more importantly, they're going to help bridge that gap, because even for us, how do we attract more veterans? Veterans don't think, oh, I can go into financial services, right? So we had to get creative. We had to work with Warriors to Work program to figure out, okay, how can we write this job description to help? And Will and I are vets. So it's again, if you want to help a veteran, a dollar's nice, but really giving them gainful employment changes the trajectory of their whole life, their mental outlook, and all those things.
Perfect, Adam, and well said, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for your time today. Thanks for discussing Warriors to Work. Hopefully, our paths cross somewhere in the near future. And keep up the good work, man.
So Jesse, I appreciate it. I've been watching the others that you're doing. You are making a major difference. I always love seeing you. The amount of work you put in. Just really proud of what you're doing, but in awe of what you're doing. So the kudos is back to you, sir. And again, anything we can do to help or support, you let us know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Sounds great. Talk soon, Adam. Have a good one.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Jesse.
Bye. Thank you.